Hey, what's up, guys? I saw a story today about a guy named AJ. He used to be a host on on BET's 106 in Park, and I guess he's on Extra now. And he's been suspended for these really, interesting allegations involving alleged sexual misconduct, things like that. And so I read the story. Now, obviously, if somebody's a sexual predator, you can't stand by that on any level. And I read the story, and the story basically said that there was a woman that filed a complaint because they went on a date, and she was kissing him alone, and he pulled out his penis, and she said that she didn't want to have sex, and he ejaculated, and she got semen on her hands. Now, that's clearly, gross, and, it's nasty. I mean, you don't want to, this is inappropriate. We know that, right? If it occurred that way, I think that the thing that the people who support the Me Too movement have yet to really understand, though, is that when you make a decision to go and get intimate with somebody in a lonely space or in a personal space, once you cross a certain line, things become very difficult to prove. It doesn't mean people don't want to believe you. It doesn't mean that you're not telling the truth. It doesn't mean that people don't want to listen to women. It just means that nobody knows what the hell happened. All people know is that two people decided to go have an intimate experience, and one of them felt like it was bad sex. Now, what it makes me think about is, I can think of a time I knew a guy who went to, he decided to go out to the club, and he went back into, this private VIP area, and one of the ladies offered him some sex or something. I don't know what it was. I don't even know if it was paid sex. I think she just wanted to get with him, and he ends up getting robbed, right? So he comes out, and he's, screaming and hollering. He's telling the police, and he's like, that bitch robbed me. She took me back there, and she did this, she did that. And she's like, I ain't do nothing. I ain't take nothing from him, right? And the thing was, all people could say to him was, they were like, look, bro, don't go running back there behind, in these private spaces with these women you don't know. Because you might think that you're there to get something that you want, and they might be looking at you trying to get something that they want. And, and in a way, it's kind of the same way with sex. Like, the problem with the AJ thing and being suspended and all that is that when you're making a public allegation against somebody and then the companies have a real reaction to it, you're doing something real and concrete in response to something that can't be proven, something that isn't provable by anyone, right? And but the reputational damage is real. I mean, this man's career is never going to recover. He's never going to get a chance to have the normal career he would have had. And I think that the best thing to say is that I think that one of the things the Me Too movement is kind of missing is any sort of personal empowerment or accountability on behalf of those who claim to be victims of Me Too. Other than Terry Crews, they've been mostly women. And I think that it's fine. I mean, if we see and we have evidence that something occurred, then that's obviously a problem. But a lot of times it's a situation where two people chose to go have sex or chose to go make out or chose to get naked with each other, and one person was not happy with the outcome. And I think that's what ends up bothering me about situations like the one with AJ, what's his face, is that it really is just he said, she said. That's pretty much what it is. She chose to get with this guy. She chose to, make out with him. She chose to hang out with him when everybody else was gone. And at the end, this thing happens where he ejaculates on your hand. And again, not cool. You shouldn't do that, right? And maybe he's a creep like that. But, I think that it's fascinating that there's no conversation being had to say, look, when you make that decision, it's almost like, how they say when you go skiing and they have the sign that says ski at your own risk. You know, like once you get to this point, ain't nothing that nobody can do for you. I think it's almost the same way. I think with sex, it's like have sex at your own risk. Before you go get naked with somebody, get to know that person. Before you put yourself in a vulnerable position, this is not just for the women, this is for the men. You know, before you put yourself in a vulnerable position with somebody, get to know that person, because sometimes the world can't help you. The world can't save you. You know, and because here's the thing, women are not the only ones who get victimized by bad, creepy people. It happens to men all the time. You know, men get raped. Typically they get raped, you know, in their pockets. Like Michi X says, you know, typically the men get raped by women that are, you know, looking to steal their money. And when that happens, the police are like, yeah, we'd like to help you, but we can't help you because you chose to go and get alone, you know, be alone with that woman. And so we don't know what happened. All we know is what she said and what you said, and we can't tell the difference between the truth and a lie. So in general, I think the AJ situation, clearly, if there's proven evidence that he's raping women, then obviously that's an issue. But if it's a matter of him sleeping around, that's not a crime. If it's a matter of, you know, him having bad sex and a couple of women not being happy with him, that's not a crime, because you take any person, any man or woman, if you were to line up every person they ever dated or got with and said, are they a good person? I'm sure somebody would want to talk shit about you or say negative things about you. And I just think that in general, you know, the Me Too concept is not a bad concept. It's just very poor execution. If it were executed in a way that allowed for due process, proof, and evidence, then it would make sense. But when you just got anybody to just scream out somebody's name and say, oh, we had bad sex because he pulled his penis out and I didn't ask him to do it, you know, then, I mean, you're going to get to the point where nobody's going to take it seriously, because everybody's using this as a tactic for revenge. Everybody's using it to say, oh, well, you're not going to call me back? Oh, I'm going to get your ass. Or, oh, you're not going to do what I want you to do? Oh, I'm going to get you. Oh, you ain't got no money for me? Oh, I'm going to ruin your whole career right now. And that's why, you know, I can't say as a black man I feel comfortable ever supporting the Democratic Party, largely because the Democratic Party is built on the destruction of men, and the most vulnerable men in America are the black men. In terms of whose reputation you can ruin the fastest, it's the black man, because the world already sees the black man as a sexual predator. The world already sees the black man as a deviant. The world already sees the black man as a criminal. So it's very easy for a black man to be labeled as a criminal. So you can get a Negro like AJ, who done spent 20 years maintaining this golden Boy Scout image, but he's on Extra. He's rolling in the space of white folks. Guess what? AJ ain't gonna be on Extra no more. AJ ain't gonna be mainstream no more. AJ's done. AJ's done. Ain't no such thing as due process at this point. Ain't no such thing as we're gonna conduct an adequate investigation about. No, AJ's done. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have too little faith in white people, but I believe AJ is done. He's a nigga like everybody else now, and it only takes one headline for 25 years of his career to be gone. And again, you know, maybe he did, you know, bust a nut on a girl's hands or something, which, you know, I mean, it's gross. It's kind of like, wow, like, ew, like, what the hell, you know, but still, you know, they chose as two adults to get together and do whatever. And the thing is, when you choose to get naked with somebody, you might be dealing with a freak. Same thing is true if you were a man. You might get with a woman where when the lights go out, she becomes a whole different person. So maybe there's something to be said about getting to know people before you choose to sleep with them. I know that sounds old-fashioned, probably makes me sound square and lame and everything else, but I'm just telling you, like, nowadays especially, this is really more so a warning for the men. You got to be cautious, you know, because, you know, if I mean, a woman, if she doesn't like you and she just decides she wants to either make something up or misinterpret something, like she feels disappointed and things did not go her way, she has the whole Me Too army behind her, believing anything that comes out of her mouth. And that right there tells you that the movement is a lie. When you believe every single thing that comes out of any woman's mouth anywhere at any time, that tells me right there that your movement's a lie, because you can't tell me on any level that in a world where men and women are equal in terms of their ability to accomplish things, that men and women are also not equal in their ability to tell a lie. You know, the idea that women do not lie is the biggest lie ever told, and that's the lie that's being told by the Me Too movement. And that's why the Me Too movement has been so destructive for the American people as well as for the black man. So anyway, I'm about to go. I gotta go and scoop around here, but I just had to share some thoughts on the AJ thing. You know, I don't know this guy. I don't know if he's a creep or not. I don't know what he does in the bedroom. I don't pretend to know. I don't have none of that inside information. All I can say is my prediction: AJ's done. I think that there has to be more evidence presented. I don't think that, you know, that the story that was told in this paper, it was really just a story meant to embarrass him. And that's the thing. You got to know the difference between stories that are just incriminating, flat out incriminating, versus those that are just meant to be messy, meant to embarrass somebody. So I feel like, you know, when you really tell a story about a man being horny or whatever, you know, sexually assertive, I think you got to be cautious, because a lot of these stories are just designed to say, oh my God, look at him. He's just being a disgusting man. Oh, he's just like, he had sex with 3 different women in a week. Oh God, he slept with an employee. He must be a rapist. No, sometimes the employees hit on the boss, and that's something that they don't talk about. So anyway, I got to go. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Be good. Peace.